Hey guys, Ben with KCT here. So I recently did a video on the Votatu v840 laser and light unit. There's been a lot of interest in that unit. So I wanted to actually do another video about it, and so I bought a second one. And so this is my setup on my long gun. So this is just a 16-inch carbine. And so, again, like I said in the last video, if you haven't seen that, I will go ahead and link that in the description below. But I have it set up so that the fire button is right underneath your thumb. And laser. There you go. Guys, you can see how bright that laser is. I'm going to shine it right at the actual lens, but it is pretty darn bright. And then the light itself is really freaking bright. It's 1500 lumens. So I have it set up so that the fire button's underneath my thumb, and I also have access to the fire button back here. So I can go ahead and pop off whatever I need to do if I hold the gun further back. So this is a good setup on a carbine, and it is set back a little bit because I can, and also I have a rather aggressive break arms muzzle brake underneath the blast shield there. And so I wanted to kind of set things back so that I wasn't going to get blasted by the blast shield, or by the non-blast shielded brake. Now on a shorter gun, there is a lot less room for accessories and things like that. So let me show you real quick what I have set up on the shorter rifle, or pistol, if you will. So, this is a 6.5-inch 300 blackout that was done for me by P7 Weapon Systems, or at least the barrel and the muzzle device were, those are amazing. This thing is just balls out accurate. So, what I did with this is I had it and mounted it so that the fire button, again, is right underneath my thumb, and I mounted it so that the mount there is just at the tip of the rail. I didn't want it overhanging because I wanted as much grabbing force on the rail as I could from the mount. So you can see that it stops right there. I didn't want to set it any further back because there is not a whole lot of room for your hand. But the nice thing about this is I'm running this with a Helios muzzle device, and this is essentially a linear compensator. So it's going to throw everything forwards, blast-wise. So I could afford to hang it off a little bit further than I did on the other one, because this will never not have that that muzzle device on there, unless it's being suppressed. In which case I'll have to probably do another rail, because this is an old school Strike Industries Mega Fins handguard, and if you can see there, it does have those fins that is used for dispersing heat, at least from Strike Industries perspective, and it doesn't really give you a whole lot of room to suppress. If you would integral suppress the gun. And this is like a 7-inch rail on a 6.5-inch barrel. So you can kind of see that the muzzle device is set back in there a little bit. So enough about that. This works out really well. I do have access to the fire button there. And then of course, we go laser, light, hold on yards. And one thing I do like about these is they'll actually show you in this little black spot right here if the unit is running. So if you are, let's say, using the IR setting, there's a little light, and it's hard to see. There it is. There's a little blue light right here. It goes on when the unit is on and turns off when the unit is off. So that way, if you have like your gun set to the IR and it gets bumped, because you can press the fire button once to have constant on, or you can hold it and go to momentary, and that's for all the different modes, light, laser, hold on yards. So there's constant on, momentary. So if you have it and you actually leave it constant on, like in a duffel bag or something like that, and you either can't see the laser if you're running a green laser and it is inside of a bag, or you're running the IR, it will let you know on all modes if it is actually still running. So I think that's really cool. It does give you a very, very good way of checking the status of the unit without putting your hand in front of things and possibly, muzzling yourself or whatever else. It's just kind of a cool thing. So yeah, I did get a second one. I did not install the pressure pad, so you guys can see here. This does come with a little retainer cable that retains the plug, which is where the pressure switch would go. Now the retaining cable, it goes through a little threaded hole, or not threaded hole, but a little hole that's been tapped into the box there. It hangs out and it kind of gets in the way of the fire button, so I just deleted it, popped it right off, no big deal. And it was good to go. So that's really the only mod that I've done to this. You can see again, not using the pressure switch. I only have 2 M-lock sections here on this rail because it's so short. So I literally have to put the pressure switch like across these two, or maybe over on these. But depending on how I hold the gun, my hand is either going to be like on them or grabbing around that area all the time. So I didn't want to do something like that. Plus I didn't want to have the giant wire hanging off. Now it's not a long wire, but it's definitely on a gun like this would have to be doubled up and folded up and run underneath there somewhere, and I just didn't feel like doing that. So this is how it looks on a short gun. Yeah, I really, really like this thing. There will be some shooting video, and we will go ahead and run some rounds through it. Again, this is a 300 blackout. It's a little snappy, just a little short guy. More so than a 5.56 with a break. But I really do like this guy. I will be using this unit quite extensively, and same with the other one. In fact, I've started to replace a lot of the lights on my guns with these units just because it is a 1500 lumen light, and it is super bright. I went ahead and just taken the unit off and shown it out into the night, and it'll light up like the street, the block that I'm on. Like it is very, very potent. And I mean, you can see here. There you go. I mean, that is really, really bright. I mean, it washes out almost everything. You can't really. I mean, like it's crazy. It's definitely a very striated band there. You guys can see. Yeah, kind of. So there's very much like a hot spot in the center, and it gets pretty bright. So, yeah, I've been running these on a couple guns and really, really like them. I think that the light is a great value. I've definitely paid more money and gotten less light. We'll obviously have to see how it holds up under recoil as we go ahead and work this a little bit through its paces, and same with the other one. But the laser is a great touch, and I believe this is something that they didn't show at the factory there, or in the instructions, but there's 2 screws here, one there, and one there, and I'm willing to bet that those are tiny Allen screws for setting your zero once you have it. So you would go ahead and zero your laser at whatever distance you want to zero it at. It's an extremely bright laser. I did take it out last night, shine it down the street, and I mean, easily 200 yards at night we were seeing the laser. So there were cars, that I was just shining off the cars or like stop signs or whatever, like 3 blocks down, and it was still very, very visible. So the laser can probably be zeroed at a decent distance. Daylight bright, it definitely is. I have yet to see in broad daylight how far the light will actually go. The laser will actually go and be visible. That will obviously determine kind of what you want to zero it as distance-wise. But, yeah, I mean, I think these are great units. They are a little bit heavy to be expected because, well, it's an aluminum box full of circuits. So it's not as light as just having a regular tack light on your gun, but you do get a lot more functionality. You do get an onboard rechargeable battery, which I'm so-so on. I like being able to replace my battery with like 123As anytime that I feel like it. So I'm not 100% sold on that. Plus, eventually that battery inside will die and necessitating you either getting a new unit or sending it out to replacement. But all that being said, I do think these are a great value. They are $94 on Amazon, and I think 704 Tactical's got a code right now where It's like 85 bucks, something like that. So I honestly might just snatch another one up with his code and do another gun with it, because I kind of want to. I think the only thing it's not going to replace probably is my Goon Beams. So, yeah, that's really all I got for you guys. I wanted to show you this on a shorter gun so you kind of see how that looks and what exactly that entails there. And again, I wouldn't run the pressure switch on a gun that short just because, at least in this case, I just don't have the M-lock for it. I know there's some other rails that have M-lock all the way back, but then my hand would have to come back here to activate the pressure switch. So, anyways, guys, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, as all this stuff does help out the channel quite a bit. Thanks for checking us out, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll have more for you later. See ya!